for some of you, I've got some news that is probably going to shock you, especially if you've been following along with the channel for any length of time. Stick around and I'll tell you why I won't be purchasing a Kawasaki Z900RS. Hey there, Walt here from WaltInPA, and I'd like to thank you for joining me on another ride through Southeast Pennsylvania. So today the series continues where I tell you which bikes I decided not to purchase because if you haven't heard, I am replacing my 2018 Honda CB650F, which has treated me very, very well for the past year and a half. And I just wanted something a little bit different. So I went out and I put a deposit down on a new bike. There's going to be a little bit of time before I get said new bike. So I thought that this would be a good way to, I don't know, maybe explain some of my decisions. And one that may shock you, or should probably shock most of you that have been watching the channel for any length of time. You know that I've been lusting after the Kawasaki Z900RS for quite some time now. And the surprising part is that I have decided not to purchase one. Now, there's actually a couple of reasons for that. And the very first issue that I have with the Z900RS is the fact that it is, it seems to have gone, I don't want to say neglected, but it hasn't seen some of the updates that the other models have seen. So I don't know that it has really changed much since 2018 when I first started looking at various models. You know, every year there seems to be a new Z900RS release in a different color scheme. So when I first looked at it, it was green in 2018, and then in 2020 it was it 2020 or 2021? It was that amazing gray color, and now it looks like it's available in a black. Now, in addition to the 900RS, Kawasaki is also releasing a Z650RS, which looks pretty interesting, but again, that would be much like the Trident. That would be a lateral move, and it's just pretty much out of the picture. And I've only ever really considered buying the 900RS. So on the surface, it seems like the model's getting a little tired, a little long in the tooth. It could definitely use some updates. I know that the standard Z line has seen some updates. For instance, Kawasaki, I believe, is rolling out a Z900, the naked bike Z900 in an SE model, which I believe is a direct competitor to the Yamaha MT-09 SP, because they both have fully adjustable suspension, front and rear. They've got some other niceties that take it above and beyond the standard Z900 lineup. Now, the other kind of I guess it's the biggest deciding factor, has a lot to do with the price. So this new SE model that they launched, I believe, comes in at just under $11,000, where the Z900RS, because it's more of a specialty bike, you know, it falls in that retro bike niche, I believe it's like $12,500. Now, when you take that $12,500 price tag and then you add in the Kawasaki surcharges to that, I want to say they charge $450, like a destination fee. And then recently, I think I saw another $250 fee tacked on top of that, probably for like a fuel surcharge or something like that. So you're looking at $12,500 plus another $1,000 in fees from Kawasaki, you know, freight and whatnot. So now you're at $13,500. Taxes, title, you know, all the DMV paperwork that goes along with that, it's probably going to add another $1,000 to the mix. So, you know, we start at $12,500, then we're at $13,500, now we're at $14,500. You know, between $14,000 and $15,000 for a motorcycle is kind of steep. You know, I think there are better options available than what you're getting in the Z900RS platform. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful bike, and I would absolutely love to own one, especially that gray color scheme. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. I would be so proud to ride around on that bike. The issue though is that because it's a retro bike, because it's a niche market, you're paying more for less in essence. So like I was saying a little bit ago, you know, Kawasaki has launched a Z900 SE, which is an update to their naked bike. Well, you know, at about $11,000 for that, you know, you're looking at about $1,500 less in the grand scheme of things. And I think that you're getting a more modern, a more updated, and in some ways a more advanced motorcycle. So the struggle that I have is paying the premium for that niche market of retro. Oh man, this is brutal. If I'd have known there was going to be so many bus stops along the way, I would have gone a different route. Now with that said, you're probably wondering, well, is there a Jesus, another one? Is there a circumstance where I would purchase a Z900RS? And the answer to that question is abso-freaking-lutely. I think a used Z900RS is where it's at. And actually I had this conversation with John from Road Reality on the WaltInPA Discord a little while back. We both find the Z900RS very appealing. It's a bike we both like very much, and neither one of us can really stomach the price tag of a new one in comparison to comparable models, or, you know, competitive models. So, you know, if let's say a 2018 Kawasaki Z900RS were to present itself with reasonable miles for, say, between $6,000 and $7,000, maybe even as high as $8,000, I think that would be a killer buy, and that would be a solid transition from my Honda CB650F. I think that move makes a lot more sense than buying a new 2021 or 2022 Z900RS. At least for me, it makes more sense anyway. So while I'd love to get my hands on a 2021 gray Z900RS with the cafe fairing, being that bike is still relatively young, you know, there's not much not much in the way of supply on them in the used market, and even a used 2021 is still going to command a hefty price tag, which would still negate making this transition for me not make much sense. So I hope that helps kind of clear up the decision, or my decision, on why I decided not to purchase a Kawasaki Z900RS. However, that new Z900 SE is quite appealing, and it's really interesting. I'd actually love to see one in person and maybe even test drive one. So if you're not familiar with what's going on, I stopped into my local dealership a couple weeks back and I put a deposit down on a new motorcycle. So this 2018 Honda CB650F will be going away in the next couple of, well, hopefully it doesn't turn into the next couple of months, but there is a very good possibility of it taking a little while for the new bike to come in. So that's going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please consider subscribing to the WaltInPA channel. If you'd like to support me, the best way to do that is by dropping a comment down in the comment section below, giving this video a big old thumbs up, and sharing this video with your friends. As always, ride safe, and I will catch you in the next one.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
You know, I realized that this is probably a funny way to end a video. The music swells, I'm riding off into the distance, the screen blacks out, and the outro should roll. Unfortunately, things don't quite go according to plan. So the video you just watched was recorded a couple weeks ago. Today is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And since then, a couple of things have changed. So while I was editing this video, I was putting everything together. I needed some supplemental photos of the different color options on the Kawasaki Z900RS. So I went over to the Kawasaki website and I started pulling the information I needed. And of course, that's when I stumbled onto the brand new Kawasaki Z900RS SE listed for 2022. Now, the reason why we're coming back is because I think it would be kind of a glaring omission to go on and complain about a bike not being updated and feeling a little tired from my perspective, when in fact Kawasaki just rolled out this brand new motorcycle that is more or less everything that I said I wanted in an upgrade. So let's address the elephant in the room. While the 2022 Kawasaki Z900RS SE is not listed in the video anywhere until this point, it does exist and I am aware of it now. So if you're not familiar with it, Kawasaki has more or less taken on the same role that Yamaha has, where they have their baseline spec bikes and then they roll out a special edition model. So you've got the MT-09 SP, the MT-10 SP, the XSR SP. All of these are the base models with additional upgrades on them, and Kawasaki seems to be doing the same. You've got the Kawasaki Z900 SE and now the Kawasaki Z900RS SE, and I'd imagine they'll continue doing that with other options in their lineup. So what does this mean for me in my decision not to purchase a Kawasaki Z900 RS? Does this mean I'm going to run back, cancel my deposit, and buy the bike that I've been lusting after for so long? The short answer is no. While I am very happy to see these new changes come about, these changes, while they eliminate one of my concerns, they actually add to another one. And the big deciding factor for me is just my gut feeling on price and value. You know, when I look at something, I want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it. I'm getting the most value, the most bang for my buck. And when I looked at the Kawasaki Z900RS previously, I saw a bike that was a little bit more than their Z lineup. And of course that makes sense. There's different tooling involved with a retro bike. It's probably not going to carry the same sort of demand that the standard Z900 lineup carries. And of course you're going to pay a little bit more for that exclusivity, for that lack of demand, or lesser of demand than the base model. Now, I felt that bike was a little bit outside of my comfort zone, and the SE model doesn't help that. It comes in, I think I mentioned in the video that the RS price was somewhere around $12.5. I think it's actually closer to $12.1 or $12.2, and the new Z900RS SE comes in at like $13.1, $13.2, which is, from my perspective, a fantastic upgrade. If you are settled on buying a Z900RS for just $1,000 more, you're getting an upgraded suspension with an Öhlins rear shock. It's fully adjustable. I believe the front fork is also fully adjustable. I think these are very worthwhile upgrades, and they make a lot of sense. Unfortunately, I'm still in a position where I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of a Z900RS brand new. You know, again, just to echo what I said earlier, if I was buying one used, I think it would be a great buy for me. But the new market, with current prices, I think there are better options available. In fact, I think the new Z900 SE, their hyper naked, or their whatever they're calling their quick naked bikes, is actually a better value, and it would actually entice me a bit more than this new 900RS SE does. Again, I love the retro Z900RS, but I just can't internalize it and make sense of the dollars and cents. And I'm sure someone could lay that out for me and show me why it makes sense. But my gut feeling is that if I'm ever going to buy a Z900RS, it's going to be from the pre-owned market, and it's going to be at a substantial discount over a new model, because I just don't feel comfortable paying extra for less. And in my mind, that's exactly what I'm getting. So now that we've addressed the brand new model that was lacking in the initial video, now we can fade to black and roll the outro.